right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the Game Time Gents podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Nardi of the Nardi's Arcade, and I have Zoltowski and Fisher with me as well.
What's up?
Hello.
And this is our Thanksgiving special episode.
Ooh.
So basically all that means is
Thanksgiving.
we have a little fancy draft here at the end for us about we're going to make our ultimate Thanksgiving plates. So before we get into that, we do have our our week 12 review, including our fantasy heroes and zeros. We have our week 13 preview, including our weekly game pick, and also our fantasy football start of the week. And those fantasy football start of the weeks are making appearances on our TikTok, which is Game Time Gents Pod. And before we get into any of the content, I do have some housekeeping items for us here. We would like to announce that GameTimeGents.com has launched, and this is going to be a central hub where you can find all of our content. So you can find links to all of our social media platforms. You can find a link to my Twitch as well as Zoltowski's Twitch and the Game Time Gents Twitch, and then eventually Fish's Twitch when he starts that.
Yes, I need a bigger desk. This thing is built for a tiny person. I am not.
You need a bigger desk and you need a webcam.
IKEA.
Everything. Yeah.
Black Friday.
Let me go to these places and like physically sit in the chair and then do the spins because I thought this was big enough, and I'm huddled in a corner right now. It's like
It's
it's
gonna
not
be
good.
months.
He bought a Smurf desk.
Look, advertising wise, it got me. It didn't look small, and then I realized that it was probably built for a 7-year-old, and now I'm angry about it because my chair is just the size of this desk. So
You didn't check the measurements?
I did, and guess what? 55 inches seems like a lot. It's not, especially when the size of the chair is probably 54 inches. So we're here for it. So I got plenty of time, do a little bit of research, drive
Check it out.
home now.
Fair enough.
Maybe Santa will bring you one.
Ooh, yeah, maybe
Oh, yeah.
Santa.
Possible.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right. Can I just say how Thanksgiving always gets skipped over? But as a fat man, I love it because I love food and football. And
Well,
I feel like
this episode's all about, buddy.
I know, but it just like Liz. It's Christmas. It said, "Oh no, Thanksgiving." You know what Thanksgiving is about? The Pilgrims and this. I was like, no. Thanksgiving is about food and football. Okay.
I'm just not surprised, and I don't think any of the listeners are surprised either, that most of our drafts have been food related. So, let's keep the trend up. You know what I'm saying?
Here for it.
We just had an early Thanksgiving at my in-laws last week. On Sunday. And right after the meal, right when everyone else left, we brought up the Christmas tree and set it up for Amy's mom because her and her grandchildren are going to be putting the ornaments on it this week. But yeah, it was a pretty quick turnover.
Dude, we got back from Disney on Friday, and I went and got the tree for her, and it was up, and it was like November 4th or something.
Yeah, that's too early.
I mean, we're waiting 2 weeks in. December 7th, we're going to go do the tree. We'll cut the tree down, and then we're putting the tree up over here. But
dude.
Oh, you're getting a real tree at your apartment?
yeah, at least this year, Annie's letting us do a real tree to kind of keep that tradition. See if she likes it. So we'll see what happens. We're not going to get a massive tree. It'll be a little tiny tree, but
right. Are you still getting one with the parents too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And is Pops and C going to kick snow and mud in my face while I cut down the tree? Yeah. Is it going to be an hour and a half fiasco of me on my side, like I'm prone blocked, trying to cut the tree down? Absolutely. So, yeah, no, it's always a good time. Spectacles for sure. So, definitely the loudest ones out there cutting the tree down. They can hear us 4 miles. So,
Probably be able to hear you up here.
yeah, the families that are listening to us probably shouldn't listen to us, but then Lisa's yelling at us, telling us to shut up and stuff like that. So, it's a good time.
Are you allowed to bring a motorized chainsaw?
I don't think so. It's a saw cut. So,
Okay. That's a bummer.
yeah. Am I winded and sweaty? Yeah. People were looking at me strangely. I'm like, I just got out of the car, so.
Well, I'm sure whatever tree you guys pick is going to be great, but
Yeah, big goal.
a couple more things I wanted to say. We have also launched a Discord server called the Gent Cord. We're trying to build a community of just gamers and fantasy football players. So if you feel like you want to join that. You can also find that on our GameTimeGents.com website. And then lastly, we are going to be launching some merch this week. And it will be probably out by the time this episode comes out. So just keep an eye out for that. We've got some pretty cool designs that we've all been working on together. So just keep an eye out and let us know what you think.
Yeah, really cool stuff. I'm excited. I'm gonna get the little water bottle, bring it to the office.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
I'm getting the hat.
I'll probably get one of everything, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna add it to my. I only wear 12 outfits, so it's gonna probably be my 13th outfit I wear throughout the year. So
True.
I respect it. Football Sunday outfit.
Yeah, actually, yeah. If it's not the Eagles or George Costanza, it's gonna be that. So
it's Art Vandelay. All right, but boys, this Thursday is the 3rd annual John Madden Thanksgiving celebration. Where are you guys going to be, and are you going to be eating any turducken?
I mean, we'll be at Andy's for a little bit. We'll be over at my parents' place for a little bit. We do our Thanksgiving a little unorthodox. We don't have the turkey or any of that stuff. None of us in the family really vibe with it that much. I know it's a tradition, but we go to that Chinese restaurant and do it. We saw it off of a UK British show, and we fell in love with it. So we do a Chinese buffet every Thanksgiving, and we've been doing it for
nice.
8 years now. We go to Twin Dragon, ironically. So that's what we're looking forward to. Liz doesn't have to cook. We don't have to do dishes, none of that stuff. So it's just everybody piles in a car and heads there. But Andy, I think, does the traditional Thanksgiving. Well, I think she's in Arizona right now. I know she's in Arizona right now doing Thanksgiving. So I don't know if they're going to have it this year, but typically they'll have it at their place, their families. Everyone comes over and does that, and then we'll probably go back to ours. But I think she's working anyway. So just my place this year. Yeah, but Chinese buffet, we're looking forward to that one, that's for sure.
That's a fun tradition there. I know we normally do like Chinese food on Christmas. At least I like to, because I did it with my grandpa one year and it just became a thing, especially after he passed. I'll be in Alabama actually visiting Liz's family, so it's the first time I've ever been down there with them for this holiday, so I really don't know how things roll down there. I'm going to assume the normal spread, as long as they have mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and mac and cheese and stuffing, I'm set. Not a big turkey guy as well, but I prefer ham, honestly. Hot take.
I agree with that. It's got to be a succulent turkey, though. It's got to be moist.
Of course.
And 9 times out of 10 is the dry turkeys,
But, I'm going to eat, I'm going to stuff my face. I know last year we went to her uncle's house and ate the food and watched football. Like I said earlier, that's what I'm about. So, Lions always play on Thanksgiving. So it's a good day for me. Well, most times it's a bad day because we lose on Thanksgiving a lot, but I think this year's going to be different.
Could keep that lose tradition, though.
Change the tradition. Make it winning a tradition.
Yeah, right. Alabama-Auburn game is going to be that week as well.
My brother's yes, it's rivalry week, actually. Yep. So you got Washington, Oregon.
Ohio State and that team up north.
Yeah. Michigan and the Suckeyes. There's another one. It's Texas A&M as well. So big week college football as well, especially because it's last week of the college football season. So then we get to see all the championship matchups and going into the playoffs, the new 12-team system too, which will be very interesting to see who gets in, who gets out. So.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch for sure. I'm excited to watch that.
I will probably watch that. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if we kind of simulcasted, maybe did like a side episode or something on that, maybe some hot takes.
That'd be cool. I'd be down.
So.
Yeah, let me brush up on my college stuff.
Do it, Fish.
I don't know that much about college anyway either, but I'm always down to watch football. I mean, it's the greatest sport out there.
It's good. I don't know. I like hockey a lot.
Fish made a noise too.
He's a baseball guy. You know this.
Good, but yeah, baseball's good. I don't know. I like all the sports though. It's tough to. If there's a game on, it's gonna be watched. I've watched handball, I've watched racquetball, anything with a ball or a puck. Really any type of team on team scoring is the objective. I don't know. It's all fascinating.
Well, you and I and Bosom watched whatever the hell that one sport was at Twin Peaks.
That was
Got
nuts.
was it JLI?
Dude, I don't know. It was like there's a goal in the middle. There's 3 different teams.
Oh
I
no,
don't
that's
even know
not
how to
JLI.
explain it.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Oh, was it? They had like 4 different soccer teams. They're all trying to score a goal. Is that the one you're talking about?
Something like that. Yeah, there was multiple teams, like more than 2.
Oh, the orange team was ass. That's why I remember that orange team was awful.
I do remember that.
It was good. We had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch cheesecake.
Was it Omega Ball? Is that what it was called?
That was what it was called, Omega Ball. I remember that now. Are they still playing Omega Ball? When's Omega Ball season?
ESPN 8 the Ocho, man. Gotta look for it.
The Ocho, baby.
Golf's got that new 3v3 format coming out in January, where they got the different teams from the different states. Have you guys seen that?
I have not seen that.
I'll look it up and I'll send it to you guys.
It's going to be interesting. I don't really have any life updates. I don't, at least. You guys have anything this week?
No updates.
Well,
Nothing.
we do have a piece of NFL news then. Daniel Jones got released this week, or this past week. The Giants are on the hook for $20 million in dead cap. And, I mean, this has just gone from bad to worse for Daniel Jones. He was playing scout team free safety, so do you guys think somebody's going to pick him up, or like, I don't know.
I think he gets picked up. I don't necessarily think it's like a horrible thing for Daniel Jones. I think it's a worse detriment to the Giants because, one, obviously the dead cap, they wasted a pick. The team is still shit. For Daniel Jones, he can treat it as like the Sam Darnold effect and look for that new opportunity, that new life that he can get with another team. Now, he did say he wanted to come and play with contenders. I mean, obviously he's done losing or playing on these, God forbid he goes to the Saints or do anything like that, or the Panthers or anything like that. But I know he was looking at like the Chiefs and a few others, obviously contenders to maybe get a Super Bowl and then probably depart from there. But I don't think it's that big of a hit for him. I think it's he can finally breathe and go, okay, great, that monkey's off my back. I don't have to look at the tabloids anymore in New York and see how bad I am. I know the team is awful. Neighbors even came out and said, it's not the quarterback issue. It's something, but it's not the quarterback issue. And they put up the same amount of points and gave up the same amount of points that they would if Daniel Jones was in. So I don't think it's a huge hit for him. I think he's going to feel relieved. He's still young enough. There has been flashes in the pants where he has done really well. You got to remember, I mean, that guy has never had an offensive line. It's really the first year that he really had a good receiver. Tracy being the running back did well there, but I mean, you take 3 steps back and next thing you got 4 guys in your face. It's going to be really tough to get that ball out anywhere downfield. So I would be curious to see if he went to a team, something happens, a little bit better O-line. I think we kind of see him blossom just a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to be a hit for him. I think he'll feel relieved for that. So I think the Giants, I mean, at the end of this year, losing Saquon, seeing what he's doing with the Eagles, I mean, granted, it's a whole different team, better team. And then now this, giving up the 6th pick overall, getting him. Everybody said that they reached. Now they got $20 million dead cap space. That one clip of the owner saying, look, I'm going to have trouble if Barkley, trouble sleeping tonight, if Barkley goes to the Eagles. That thing resurfaces every week. It's out of control. I like it every time. I'm like, oh, okay. I just like that one again. Sure. At the end of the year, somebody has got to lose their job. There's no way that you eat this much cap, make a dumb decision, getting Jones that early, and then dropping Saquon, thinking that no one's going to pay that much. He's done. He's washed up, and then him having arguably an MVP season. Knock on wood, nothing happens. Something's got to happen. So I think the Giants are the biggest losers in this. I think Daniel Jones takes a small victory, a little small dub. He gets rid of the shit. New opportunities come. I think somebody will pick him up. He's not going to start anywhere right now, but possibly next year if quarterbacks, I don't know, Jaguars, if Trevor Lawrence isn't the guy, they might be able to get Daniel Jones for a cheaper option. But that's just my take on it. It's interesting, though.
Yeah, I'm with Fish on this. I think the the Giants are the big losers here. Like you said, the cap space hit, and losing the pick, losing all the time that they spent, all the effort wasted. I've heard rumors that the Lions are possibly looking at picking him up when he when he passes waivers. Which at first I was kind of like, ew, why? But the more I thought about it, again, Fish makes that point too, going to a contender, which is again weird to say as a Lions fan, thinking that they're Super Bowl contenders. But if you look at the Sam Darnold effect, you look at what Ben Johnson's doing with his offense. He could go there, sit behind Goff, probably Hendon as well, maybe even, but just learn and actually get developed as a quarterback because he's shown those flashes of, hey, I can throw the ball, I can make smart plays. It's just when he has, what do we say, 0.4 seconds to throw the ball, you're not going to make good throws. So I think going somewhere that's established as a strong offensive team, that we're going to have, he's going to have success somewhere else.
I mean, honestly, the way the Giants, I mean, the way their season's going right now, right? They're horrible. They got Tommy Cutlets in there. And by the way, love the whole Baker celebration too. I mean, it's a big fu, but
Yeah.
I'm glad he did it. People need that spark, but then you got Tommy Cutlets, who's going to be in the same position that Daniel Jones is in. The team's in turmoil. You let Barkley go. He's doing incredible. No one thought that he would do this good. He hasn't done this good in his whole career with the Giants. They were comparing stats that he has alone compared to like touchdowns and rushing compared to the entire Giants team. I mean, it's an absolute mess. The cherry on top of the cake would be Daniel Jones goes to a contender. They win the Super Bowl. Daniel Jones gets the ring, and then he just flips everybody off. So that would be the Cinderella story for Daniel Jones, and it just possibly the worst team decision ever for the Giants, letting Barkley go, then letting Daniels go, spending all that money, and then all of a sudden he wins a ring. Granted, he would get carried, but still a ring's a ring. So that would be something funny to see at the end of the season. So I mean, if he goes to the Lions, he's got a damn good chance. I mean, hopefully we see each other in the final or on our division side, but you never know. I mean, he's looking to go to contenders, and it seems like people are willing to bite and just have him as a backup. I think it's more of a slap in the face to the Giants saying, we can do it and we can take him and give him a ring that you guys couldn't for, the last 6-7 years. So that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think he's definitely being used as a scapegoat. It's going to be interesting to see if Dable keeps his job. I mean, he was such a good coach the first couple of years he was there, and then this year has just been horrible. So
I mean, it's been the last few years. It all starts with the offensive line. I mean, look at the Bengals, right? They tried to beef up their line. I mean, Burrow came in, did well, got hurt. They tried to beef up the offensive line. It's gotten better where it has been the last few years, but I mean, everybody knows, right? If 3 drops, there are 3 steps back.
yeah,
You're looking, you're scanning. You can't do anything if you got these massive humans who are running a 4.40 that are in your face constantly. Like you can't do anything, and that eliminates the run game because now they're going to load the box. They know you can't throw it accurately because you're constantly on the run, or the blitz is coming left side. Whatever it may be. It starts with the O line, and that's what they need to fix, and they need to fix it now before they ruin Tommy Cutlets or waste Tracy and Neighbors' careers so far. I mean, we've seen plenty of NFL teams get these young, talented guys, and they can't do anything with them. And then they're frustrated. Now, the younger guys are speaking more and more, okay, yeah, I'm fed up with losing. This sucks. And then now they're going to start looking for those other opportunities saying, hey, you know what? I appreciate you guys drafting me so high. We haven't done shit in 4 years, and it seems like you're not trying to benefit the team or get the appropriate needs. I would like to request a trade. And then they go somewhere else. So it's just something to kind of look into and keep an eye on for the next few years with what they do, especially in the draft in April. Kind of see where they go. Do they get another young stud quarterback and put them right in the same position? Or do they make some free agency moves, get some O-line? Do they draft O-line? Do they get another receiver, another threat there? So a lot of things. They got a lot to work on. They definitely do. And I mean, the defense is one and the same still. So it's just, if you're a Giants fan, you're in the long haul for the next 4 or 5 years, is what it seems like. So until you kind of rebuild, you guys have been rebuilding as long as the Browns, it seems like. So
True. Yeah.
actual,
I mean, we'll trade him to Sean. They're interested in that.
he's hurt. Can't do it. Derrick Henry scored, by the way. Flag.
I know this seems. I know this is just a rumor, per the rumor mill, but Shadur Sanders and Dion going there just seems like it's getting a lot more real. The Giants are going to be picking very, very close to the number one pick, if not the number one pick. But if Dable's truly on his way out, that could be the perfect situation for Dion and Shadur to be, coach and son on the same team, which I think is what they're wanting to do, but I'm not sure.
I just don't know if he's ready. I don't know. I've watched Shadur play. He seems fine, but
Who's he playing?
Right. I just don't know if that talent is going to transition into the NFL. And I could be wrong, right? Because we all thought Trent Richardson would be incredible for what he did at Alabama, and then just couldn't get it going in the NFL. Same thing with Jamarcus Russell, right? But I don't know, man. If I'm the Giants owner, do I want Dion and his son and that massive ego coming in? Because they're going to slip up in press conference, say that everyone's shit and it's just us kind of thing. I just don't know if I would want that on my team when I can get someone else who's not going to come with that additional ego baggage. Honestly, let him go to the Cowboys.
I know it's a different game, but he can draw players, man. There's been a ton of people that have decommitted, switched to Colorado just because Dion's the coach there. So maybe that's a positive.
Yeah, but I mean, how many NFL players can be like, "Oh, Dion's cool. They're cool. Yeah, I'll take a pay cut and play with him." Nobody's gonna say that. College is different because they're not guaranteed. Hey, I want 4 years for 60 million, and then Dion's there. I'll take 4 years for 20. No professionals aren't. I don't think are really gonna do that and swing it that way. I think he's got leverage to try and talk to those players and say, "Hey, why don't you come play for me?" But I don't think anybody's dumb enough to realize like, "Oh, I'm a middle linebacker." Yeah, absolutely, but we need more receivers, tight end depth, offensive line. Okay, cool. So I would want a max contract knowing that I'm going to win maybe 4 games for the next 4 years and run the risk of an injury. I just don't see him drawing that attention like he's doing in college. I think a lot of kids are starstruck and they can learn a lot, but I think a lot of players in the NFL are already established. They got their go-to guys. I don't think there's much else that Dion could teach to these professional athletes. Maybe the first, freshman to senior year guys, the first 4 years, sure. But I don't think he's going to look at Mike Evans and be like, "Oh, Mike, let me show you how to do this real quick," or Marshawn Lattimore, "Hey, let me show you how to do this one." I just don't think it's going to happen. I think everybody's set in their way. They've been successful for so long that they're not going to want to change, and I don't think he's going to draw in that attention like he's doing in college. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting future events for sure for the Giants. So, But let's get into our Week 12 review here. Zoltowski did have to step away, so we may not get his take on some of these, but I'm sure if he comes back, he can just jump back in a little bit. But let's jump into the fantasy heroes first. Fish, why don't you go ahead and tell me who your fantasy hero is for Week 12?
Absolutely. And honestly, I think this guy's a hidden gem. He's been slept on constantly over the years, playing in Denver as a wide receiver. Massive body, big guy, good route running, good speed, good jump ball guy. He really flies underneath the radar. Now, I know that in recent years they haven't had the best quarterbacks. But let me tell you, this Bo Nix guy trusts Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton has done superbly well this year. Bo Nix has not only used his legs, he's finally settled in. I know the first few games, obviously starting in the NFL, we know that he's not going to come out and ball like a Jaden Daniels would, but he has really found his own with that Giants team. And again, I hate to bring this up. It seems like Bo Nix has won the locker room. And it's just when you got an outlet play or a big play, we saw that they scored a late touchdown to Courtland Sutton. This past week, Sutton caught 8 of his 10 balls thrown to him for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns, putting up 25.7 fantasy points at half PPR. Denver did win 29-19 and currently sitting at 7-5. third in their division, but still in the same mix with the Chargers. So the playoffs hopes is still alive. But I think a big component is that they have kind of awoken Colton Sutton's ability to showcase that he's a true number one. Since week 6, Colton Sutton has finished no less than 11.3 fantasy points in half PPR, except for week 7 where he was out the entire game. But I mean, consistently is putting up numbers, is gaining more and more trust for those big play capabilities. So it looks pretty good there. So that's my fantasy hero. He helped win one of the games for me this week, which has been fantastic. So big shout out to Cortland Sutton if he ever listens to this. But that's my fantasy hero.
He's quietly on pace to having his best year yet in his short 6-year span as a Broncos wide receiver. He has 744 yards on the year, which I think he could easily break 1,000 if he keeps up what he's keeping up here.
I totally agree. A lot of people have you don't really talk about him as much. I'm sure in the Denver area they're all over it, but you hear like the big J Jettas, the CD Lambs. I'm not saying Cortland Sutton's up in that category, but I do think that he is a step or two right below it. And if he keeps producing the way that he has with Bo Nix there, who's doing fairly well, he could be up in that top 10. He's definitely top 15 category for receiver right now. So definitely something to keep an eye out. Hopefully looking forward to his success going forward and see what Denver could do. A little playoff run action maybe. So just depends on how the Chargers game goes tonight and obviously the rest of the year. But keep an eye out.
Yeah, he's the 9th ranked wide receiver in full PPR formats. So
we love that. We love it.
Having a career year for sure. My fantasy hero is going to be a little bit of an emotional pick. The city of Cleveland had a exciting game to play Thursday night, and it was snowing, Cleveland weather, winds off the lake, and who do they call? They call the Batman. Nicholas Jamal Chubb, the Batman himself, came out, carried the ball 20 times, was on the field for 66% of plays, only had 59 yards. It's all right. He's still getting his ground back, but he did have 2 touchdowns in that game, and I was able to start him instead of Breece Hall in a lot of leagues this week, and he really stepped in and was my personal fantasy hero this week for multiple reasons. I mean, anytime the Browns can beat the Steelers, great feeling for any Cleveland fan. And also, it's got to be emotional for him because that's the team that took him out last year. It was an early injury early on in the season. Got his knee taken out by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Totally not a dirty play, a wink, wink. But yeah, he finally came back. He's been showing some spurts of old Nick Chubb. He's still trying to get his legs underneath him, and this is his first multi-touchdown performance this year since coming back from the ACL tear. So good on Nick Chubb. I'm glad he's back, at least partially. And I'm really excited to see how he advances in the future here.
I mean, hopefully you keep building up that team. I love to see the old Nick Chubb, him going into full effect. So I think he's getting there, but this is definitely a good step in the right direction. A good confidence boost, that's for sure. For the whole
team, yeah,
absolutely. So it's good to see him get some. So
yeah, he exited week 2 last year. I didn't realize it was that early, but yep, Nick Chubb back and playing like he never left.
Yes, sir.
But Fish, I still don't think Zoltowski's back yet, so we'll just go ahead and jump into the fantasy zeros. And we both picked the same position groups as our fantasy heroes. So why don't you go ahead and start with your fantasy zero here?
Yeah, so God, this is a rare thing to have this type of caliber of a player as a wide receiver. Really had not a great week. The team looked decent. They spread the ball around. They ran it fairly well. They got everybody involved, but the Bears made a good effort to lock this man down. And I'm talking about Justin Jefferson, Jay Jettas. He went 2 catches on 5 targets for a whopping 27 yards and 0 touchdowns. It was tough to watch. There was a good amount of times where Darnold would drop back and there'd be one-on-one coverage, but Chicago would blitz. He'd be in Darnold's face, and they just couldn't find him the ball, even when he did do his streaks or deep posts. That safety help was right over top, and they were willing to give up the shorter passes over the middle, quick outs, rather than going for that deep bomb. Vikings did end up winning, but but a little bit more of a shocking that Jay Jettis has failed to reach 100 yards in the last 3 games. Reading off some stats here, week 10 he had 48 yards, week 11 he had 81, and then obviously this past week he had 27. It was just a tough thing to watch. Again, one of those things where you start him as a fantasy manager, you start him every week. It's Jay Jettis, right? They're going to get him the ball. So kind of expect there's a lot of games this season. A lot of people kind of game scheme, game plan towards the best players. He is obviously a top 3, arguably top 1 receiver in the league. So you got to figure that people are like, okay, yeah, let's double cover him, add safety help over the top. We'll blitz the backside for Darnold and stuff like that because he's not a Tom Brady type, or Patty Mahomes with escapability or anything like that. So it is a rare and disappointing last few weeks, but hopefully he can turn it around. But that's got to be my fantasy zero. Is Jay Jettis kind of killed it, especially having him in a few leagues of mine. I keep looking down. I'm like, oh, cool. They put up 24 points. Let's take a look at this. And my man has 1 catch for 5 yards. And it's like, what? Is he hurt? What's going on? Nope. He's out there running around. So it's a tough thing to follow, but that's just fantasy football, man. It is. I was angrily eating my cheeseburger wrap. I was angrily eating that. So my bowl of chili. So, but Jay Jettis, fantasy zero for this week.
Yeah, there's been worries that Sam Darnold is turning like back into a pumpkin. I know we're past Halloween, but kind of seems like that might be what's going on. Maybe some defenses are figuring him out. Justin Jefferson is scoreless in his last 5 appearances as well, but he is still the wide receiver number 4 in the season in full PPR format. So he's still able to get it done usually through the yardage, but man, you're not kidding. He's having a bit of a slump right now.
So you fund that out though with a lot of. I would be curious. We should look at this, right? We should look at like one of our leagues or whatever, and where the average players being drafted in all fantasy leagues, right? Jay Jettis, you figure, is going to go top 10. CD Lamb, Saquon, Brees Hall. You got all these big names. I would be curious by the end of the season where people averagely draft these players and where they actually ended up in fantasy overall.
I mean, that's something we could definitely look at.
I would be curious to see that because I feel like there's a lot of big names out there that are disappointing, right? And a lot of these up and comers, mid tier guys are stepping up and outperforming them. I mean, hell, at one point, Brandon Aubrey had more fantasy points than Tyreek Hill, and that's another name, by the way. And a bunch of these other guys are like, that doesn't make any sense because 2 years ago, he had 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. So it's just, I would be curious to see where that trend lies and where people are drafting them averagely, and then where they actually ended up. I mean, Jay Jettis makes sense. He's still top 4, but if he has any more of these dud weeks, I mean, could he fall out of the top 5? I don't see him falling out of the top 10 because I think he'll get another game where he gets 30 some odd points. But I don't know. It's a weird fantasy year. That's for damn sure. It is really weird. And obviously, a lot of the quarterbacks going down. Jay Jettis doesn't have Kirk Cuddy. We saw Sam Darnold, that flash in the pan. He looked good. I think the honeymoon period is over. I think that you might be onto something. You might be reverting back to the Sam Darnold, or people are understanding that when we blitz, he goes into full panic mode and he gets the little happy feet like Peyton Manning used to have.
Right. Yeah.
And he just panics. So I'm gonna have to watch the Vikings just a little bit more to see what the issue is, because it seems like they're running the ball pretty well. Addison's getting involved. The tight ends are getting involved. Their defense is really good. Is it Darnold? Is it him? So maybe pull up some stats later on. But it's definitely something we'll keep an eye out. I don't think it'll happen again, but it is an interesting choice what we got going on for big names in fantasy this year.
Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely a factor, Darnold's play, because Kevin O'Connell's a pretty good coach. So I'm not sure if maybe next year JJ McCarthy is going to make that offense look better, but we were kind of saying earlier in the year, like Sam Darnold, he's been in the league for a while. We kind of know who he is. He had a remarkable first month of the season, but I think you're right, Fish. I think teams are just not trying to figuring out who he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Daniel Jones. You blitz the guy, he doesn't have more than 2 seconds in the pocket, no matter how fast Jay Jettis is.
True.
You can't get open in 2 seconds when you're running a deep ball, so it's just something else.
Jay Jettis, Malik Neighbors, just some guys getting wasted right now.
Which is super unfortunate for, especially where we drafted them. So
Yeah.
But again, it's that position where you can't just sit them. you can't sit them.
You gotta play him.
You gotta play him. You gotta suffer through it. So,
but my fantasy zero this week, I didn't really watch this game closely. I just kept looking at the box score, and I think we need to file a missing persons report for James Conner.
Absolutely.
The man was on the field for 69% of snaps. He had 7 carries. Yes, 7 carries for 8 yards. That's 1.1 yards per carry. He had 5 receptions on 5 targets for 41 yards. And I'm not sure what the Cardinals are doing. I'm not sure what was going on, but the game never really got that out of hand game script wise. I think it ended up being 16-9, something like that.
Yeah.
Real low scoring, but it was just, and I think one of the Seahawks touchdowns were just defensive as well. Sorry, 16-6 was the final score of that game. James Conner historically against the Seahawks has been pretty good. In his career, he's had 5 games against the Seahawks. He's had 16 carries, or these are his averages against the Seahawks, and this goes all the way back to Pittsburgh as well, but he's had 16 carries, 64 yards, usually has 5 targets for 5 receptions like he did for 33 yards, and usually averages a touchdown. So I'm not sure why James Conner had such a huge issue this week. I'm not sure why the coach did not scheme for him, because James Conner's a really good running back. I mean, he's not like the sexy pick you're going to pick every time, but he's a pretty good back, and I'm shocked that he was held that far at bay. So
it might be Trey Benson time, and I hate to have an early call, but
Trey Benson had a worse week.
Nah, he's so good. They just didn't give him the opportunity.
Yeah, Trey Benson was. I guess he wasn't worse. 4 for 18.
Whoa,
but
pretty good.
Yeah.
Trey
Collectively
Benson,
as a whole, their entire offensive rushing scheme did not work. They had 14 carries for 49 yards. They were just trying to sling it out there for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Murray can throw it, but it's just that team plays hot and then gets real cold real fast. And we're just like, okay, what? I mean, if James Conner is your go-to guy for not only receptions but running the ball too, I mean, you figure you force feed them, and they did well with the receptions, but I don't know. Again, one of those teams I just need to watch closer when we go on football Sundays, but I don't know. Something doesn't make any sense there. And it's again, another tough pill to swallow. Drafting him and just the whole Cardinals organization as a whole. Because I don't think, did Marvin Harrison do anything yesterday either?
Not really, no. 3 for 47. No touchdowns. Trey McBride had a big game, 12 for 133.
He did, and they usually rely on him too, which is good. If one of the few bright spots at tight end. He's consistent, but yeah, it's just you got to spread it just a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe the Seahawks were just really on yesterday.
Trey Benson was nowhere to be found in the receiving game,
which is super upsetting because he's a decent pass catching back. He's just got good speed with his size. So
yeah, no, I don't know what. Like I said, put him on a milk carton. He was not around yesterday when we needed him the most. So
yep,
I personally needed him the most. He was one leg in one of my parlays. It just failed me.
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe it's
the rest of them hit.
I don't know. It seems like a common trend when a player does bad, you can almost guarantee that Nut put a bet on him. So
I've been getting better at predicting players. So
just stay away from the Eagles.
Speaking of predicting players,
ooh,
you want to get into our Week 13 fantasy football starts of the week?
I think I'd love to. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, why don't you start?
Yes. So my
receiver position.
Oh, God, it's just been a receiver theme so far, at least for me. But my fantasy start of the week, I'm going to go in tandem. These two guys, naturally really, really good at receiver. They got a quarterback who loves slinging the ball. It seems like these are the only two receivers outside of Robinson that really catch the ball. One is more, actually, both of them are kind of, they play both the long ball and then they play right over the middle. Both are very, very good at it as long as one doesn't throw a punch at another player. And the two wide receivers that I'm talking about specifically is Puka and Cup. They play in New Orleans. We obviously know, based on the podcast that we talked about a little while ago, Marshawn Lattimore is not there. The Saints, they struggle to do anything. Sorry, Noah. That team is just not great. But I do want to read off some of the stats, just Saints wise. Pass D currently ranked 29th, which is a great big plus check mark for Puka and Cooper Cup. The Saints are giving up an average of 256.6 yards per game. Their rush D is no better, ranked 25th, giving up 134 yards per game. And the Rams' total passing offense, we're going to talk about the Rams just a little bit, are actually fairly high. I'm kind of surprised by this. Ranked 7th, averaging about 240 yards a game. Now, we know that the Rams did take the L against the Eagles, but Cooper Kupp and Puka, they were fairly impressive, especially with the young Quinyon Mitchell, Quintanamo Bay on them. I think Puka caught all 5 balls that Quinyon was on top of him. We know that Slay went out, but the Eagles defense has turned it around. And it's just not a light work game. They had to earn it. I know Cooper got a last minute touchdown pass, which
garbage time.
Oh, we love it because it kind of helped me out when possibly winning one of my games. But we know that both these guys, Stafford relies on both of them. Not only can we also, they're not going to be like a 3-4 reception kind of guy. Both of them are probably going to go for at least 5+. It just seems to be that common trend of obviously of Kyron Williams there as well. Pass catching back, running it as well. I think the Rams are going to come back with a little chip on their shoulder, but I expect big things out of both of these guys early too. Puka just seems when he does play, when he's not fist fighting someone on the field or being hurt, it does seem that he controls that middle of the field. We saw him make some spectacular catches towards the sideline this past weekend as well. So anticipating both of them to keep their trend going. If you have either or both, definitely start them. I think that they'll get their points, they'll get their receptions. Especially if you're in half point PPR or full point, that would be even better. Puka will definitely be the main guy there. I think he'll take the number 1 spot, and then Cooper Kupp right behind him. But those guys should be the starts this week. And if you're playing against them, I'm sorry, start praying that some of your team, your players do a little bit better. But those got to be my guys for must starts this week with a struggling Saints defense, where they're losing their best player. Their offense can't gain anything going on. So, plus Stafford loves to sling the ball, and we knew that from the get-go. So, as long as they stay healthy, which they have been so far, knock on wood, nothing happens, they should do just fine and pick up a lot of fantasy points for you.
Yeah, they've both been pretty good since they've been back. Definitely, I think that those are great starts of the week for sure.
As long as Nutter doesn't make any bets.
Oh,
Ooh.
Here we go. The kid is back.
Wow, he's already hitting it. See, we just talked about that too. So,
yeah. No, sorry, I had to step away.
You're good.
No, don't know if you guys went over my stuff or not.
Now we kind of brushed it. We deleted most of it.
Yeah.
See that? It's gone.
Yep. Rip.
No, but we could just pick up where we are now. I'll just stick
fine.
the other ones on a graphic.
That's fine.
My fantasy start of the week in Fish. I've been telling you about this kid for a while, just before the season even started.
I drafted him in a few leagues.
It's Bucky Irving.
Yes, sir.
Bucky Irving, running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So over his rookie season, Bucky has averaged 5.4 yards a carry, and in the last few weeks, he's out-carried Rachaad White, who came into the season as Tampa Bay's number 1 running back. They play against the Carolina Panthers this week. Carolina is ranked dead last in rushing yards allowed at 160.5 per game. So I really expect Bucky here to kind of eat pretty heavily over the Thanksgiving weekend. Bucky has been used in the past game as well, a lot more than Rachaad White has been. And I think we're getting to the time where Bucky's about to take over as the number one back.
Just give him the rock.
When you watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play football, there's 3 things you notice. Baker Mayfield's moxie, you notice Mike Evans' route running, and you notice how good Bucky Irvin is in the open. And he can get open by himself. He almost reminds me of A-Chain a little bit. He's quick, he's powerful, he's explosive. I just think he's a lot better than Rachaad White, and this could be a week to prove them separate. So I would go ahead and start Bucky Irvin, and honestly, if you want to, go ahead and start Rachaad White as well, because they're using both of them. But Bucky Irvin is my start of the week this week.
I love a good 2-headed monster back there. That's a good pick, Nut.
That's a solid pick.
Solid pick.
Zoltowski, you have a running back in the same division.
I do have a running back as well. So I went on the flip side of old fishy boy here. And I went with a Saints player. I went with Alvin Kamara. He's my start of the week. Now, we all watched the Eagles-Rams game, and we saw what Saquon did to that defense. And, I mean, they're ranked right now 28th in rushing. They're letting up 144.3 rushing yards per game. Kamara's ranked RB3 on Sleeper. He's got one game where he didn't get over 15 points. 1 or 2 games where he didn't get over 15 points. They're coming off a bye, so he's going to be fresh. He's going to be healthy. And the Rams just got beat up on defense, and I think they're still going to be hurting from that. So I think he's a guaranteed start right there for me.
Dude, I did not realize Kamara was having that good of a season.
Yeah, and now
that is shocking to me.
Yeah, and some of it may be from the first 4 games where they really just exploded and then took a huge, even when the team took a huge skid, he was still performing well. Real quick.
He's been doing well. I'm looking at his stat lines here.
Yep.
I'm shocked he's third. He's done that pretty quietly.
Yeah, RB3, 11th overall. So, start him. I think he's going to get a bunch of yards. I think he's going to score 2 or 3 times. Probably going to start him. I wish I had him to start him, but probably going to start Taysom Hill because I don't have Alvin. I think he's going to get him there. He's going to get in. Hopefully, he breaks off a couple big ones like Saquon did. We saw him break off 2 70-yarders. Could see him breaking off 2 70-yarders, maybe more.
I don't know about that, but
I don't know about that either. But
that offense is going to have to go through him in order to win. That's what it boils down to. 100%. With Olave being out, they got to go through Kamara. They got to go through him running, passing. I mean, hell, throw it at this point too, because it doesn't seem like Derek Carr or anybody back there is going to be relatively good unless it's Taysom Hill. So, offense is going to have to go through him and Taysom with his utility. It just makes sense, and it'd be foolish if they don't go and try and max utilize both of those guys. So,
yep, Zoltowski, I think it's a good pick, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get into our games of the week now. Our other part of the Week 13 preview here, and we do like to do these in order. So, Zoltowski, you were first with a Thanksgiving celebration pick.
Yeah, talked about this earlier a little bit. Detroit football on Thanksgiving is a great tradition. I love it, almost as much as I love stuffing food in my face. But I got Chicago at Detroit at 12:30 on Thanksgiving Day. Detroit's coming in a 10.5 point favorite with the over/under at 48.5 points. I mean, we've all watched the Lions offense and defense this year. Even after losing, Hutch and now Anzalone, that defense is still strong. Offense has just been synced up. I mean, they're performing. Jared Goff looks good. The 2-headed monster looks good. And Sonic and Knuckles, they've got a lot of weapons they can throw to. Bears do have a good defense. They've been playing well. But you're coming into Ford Field on Thanksgiving. I think the atmosphere is going to be a big, big part of this game as well, because I don't know if you guys have seen the videos on TikTok, but the Lions fans have been taking over opposing team stadiums. So can only imagine. And I've seen that home field crowd on TV, and it just looks wild. And I would love to be a part of it, but I cannot take out a loan to go to a Lions game, which is, again, weird to say because tickets are really expensive. But Lions ranked right now first in points per game, 32.7 points per game. Points against, they're ranked second with 16.6 points. Yards per game, they're averaging 394.3 yards per game, which puts them second in the league. And then yards against, 13th at 322.1 per game. And then on the flip side of that, the Bears, they're scoring 20.1 points per game, tied 22nd in the league. Again, we're talked about their defense, only allowing 19.7, 8th, pretty solid. Yards per game, they're getting 300.6, which is 26th. And then yards per game against them is 339, which puts them at 17th. So I think, the Lions got a good test. It's a divisional game as well, obviously. The first time they've played this year. Maybe Caleb's found his groove a little bit, but I think that Lions defense is going to get some pressure on them. Their O-line's been kind of shaky. The Bears' O-line's been kind of shaky here and there. We've still got Jack Campbell. We got Zadarius that we picked up, DJ Reader who can make some noise up front. Brian Branch back there. Why is his name escaping me? Picked him up from the Buccaneers. Yeah, Terrion Arnold from Alabama. Carlton Davis.
Oh yeah, Carlton Davis.
Yep. His name was just escaping me. We've really picked up that secondary. I'm excited to watch them play on Thanksgiving. We're on a 9-game winning streak, hoping to make it 10.
Zoltowski, you did say something about the fans. How many of those fans do you think are bandwagon fans?
Oh,
because Dan Campbell makes you like the team. I'll tell you that right now. Actually, Bosom and I were playing Madden the other day, and he's a Patriots fan. I'm a Browns fan, so obviously we started talking about playoffs. And I said, "Who's your team for playoffs?" Because neither of our teams are making it. And he told me the Lions, and I said, "I think I agree."
He's going down on my friend list. I'll tell you what.
Especially when the Lions eliminate the Eagles, you'll be on the Lions bandwagon too.
No, because when they run the score up and then they have all their starters in and then everyone gets hurt, then we should just cruise into the Super Bowl.
Oh God!
Because that's going to happen. That divisional game, they're going to put up points, and Dan Campbell's going to be like, "Yeah, Jared Goff, you stay in there. Jameer, you stay in there too." And the next thing you know, boom, both are out. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen, but kind of been a common trend.
It has been. So it has been.
I'm being stupid.
Listen. Dan Campbell doesn't take his foot off the gas. That's, I think, the one thing that I don't like about him is that he doesn't take his foot off the gas. His reasoning is that, you keep the momentum going, you carry it into the next week. And I'm not a coach. I'm not an NFL coach. I don't know. I've talked about it before. I don't know if, maybe even the starters are like, hey, we want to keep playing. We're feeling good. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I wish we could just a little bit. We still got some good backups.
There's 6 players he should take off the field and then put his foot on the gas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, both your running backs, both receivers, and then throw in a defensive player. I don't know if that was 6 or 7, but
Amon-Ra's gonna. He played with a messed up. He skipped a week when he should have been out for 4 last year. I think he tore his pectoral or something, and he played through that because he didn't want to stop. Look, it's the list. This team is just built different. Okay, look, there he is, right there.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell on Monday Night Football. It's grit. But to go to your original question on how many of those are bandwagon fans, I'd say honestly probably about 25%, maybe less, because if you really look back, I mean, the city of Detroit, the Lions, Red Wings, and the Tigers. Lions and Tigers stadiums right across the street from each other. Little Caesars is closer than Joe Louis was. these people, win or lose, they're out there for their team. I mean, you saw it. You probably saw it in Cleveland. People wearing the paper bags and all that.
Paper bags. We used to have a guy that wore a pumpkin.
Yeah, they've been there when they're losing, and now they're there when they're. There was a guy I remember seeing it last year when they played the Rams. He was 89 years old or 82. He was up there, and it's the first time he'd ever seen the Lions win a playoff game. And he said he's been. I think he was a season ticket holder or something. He'd been to a ton of games. I mean, that's like you. The Browns aren't that good, and you still went to your games.
True.
That you had tickets to. Should have just sold the tickets.
I just meant the traveling fans. That's more
I think the traveling fans are probably 10% bandwagon. That's what I would say. But I don't know.
We'll have to take a survey.
I have to, but I just looked it up too. The Lions haven't won a Thanksgiving since 2016. This is the year right here, breaking that streak.
You guys didn't win last year?
No, we lost 29-22 against Green Bay. Lost 28-25. Buffalo the year before, 16-14. Bears 21. Got destroyed by the Texans in 2020. I remember going in 2008. I had tickets to that game the year they went 0-16 when they lost 47-10 against the Titans. We left at halftime because I think it was like 28-0.
Yeah, might as well.
35-0. I was like, what's the math? 12, 14, I think. Yeah, 14. That's the math. Born in 94, 14. So I couldn't drive. I couldn't stay. Yeah. I'd have stayed. I bought tickets on the stay. But that's my game of the week. Start off strong on Thanksgiving. Always watch the Lions play.
I think it's going to be a good game. I might be in the car for it, but I'll be listening to it for sure.
No, put it on your phone, man. Watch the game.
Well, I can't watch the game if I'm driving.
Make Amy drive.
True.
Yeah. God.
I'd like to get there in one piece, though. You know what I mean?
He'll be all right. Yeah. I'm telling her you said that.
All right, Fish, go ahead, man.
I think you're in trouble. I can hear the footsteps now. Yeah, absolutely. So my game of the week is a personal favorite. And I don't think I've talked about this team enough. Right? I'm gonna go ahead and go with Philly at Baltimore at 4:25 on Sunday. I mean, these teams are player-wise, position-wise, are very similar. They have obviously they got Lamar. We know that he can throw it. He's gotten a lot better accuracy-wise. We know he can run it. He's an incredible runner. We also have Jalen on the other side, who is known to run. I mean, he squats, 9,000 pounds, I think is what they said. The little scanner was like, it's over 9,000. He's just, I mean, it's incredible what he can do. He has also gotten a lot better passing-wise, too. Sometimes a little shaky still, but still relatively good. Good enough to keep a 8-game winning streak. Zoltowski, I think we're right behind you guys.
Right behind us.
Which is great. So, I mean, it's going to be a hell of a matchup. Then we talk about both running backs. I've mentioned Saquon before. We already know what he can do. We've talked about Derrick Henry and what he can do. Both categories, both running backs, are in contention for possible MVP and the rushing title. Both very similar. Both at any minute, they'll run for 6 yards, and then they'll pop a 70-yard run. And Derrick Henry, for his size, looks like he's running in slow motion until you see him blowing past the safety, and then they're like, oh yeah, he just ran 25 miles an hour. I was like, I'm not tackling that shit. There's no way.
Nope.
I do want to read some of the offensive stats for both teams, which is very, very interesting. They're very, very similar. So the Eagles-wise, total offense, and they have popped off ever since Nick Sirianni shaved his head, which has been fantastic. We love the guy. He's Philly-born. I would love it, But total offense, they've ranked 5, averaging about 380 yards per game, and they've also had 31 touchdowns on the year offensively. Passing-wise, not a big surprise, especially when Saquon busts a 70-yard run. We don't have to pass it that often, and we have been up relatively early on. Well, the first quarter is very rough. We're struggling there. But as soon as the second half hits and starts, Saquon just does his Saquon thing. I think they said he was averaging 6.5, if not 7.5 yards per carry. Obviously, the 270-yard runs do help with that stat. But passing wise, we're ranked 22, averaging a little less than 200 yards a game with 12 passing touchdowns. Rushing, we know this is not a shock at all based on Jalen running, Kenneth Gainwell when he touches the ball twice a game, which I wish he wouldn't, give Will Shipley the ball, and then Saquon doing Saquon things. They're currently ranked one, averaging about 181 yards a game with 19 touchdowns on the season rushing. Most of it obviously coming from the tush push, and then Saquon just, if he's not going to get it within the 20, he's going to get it within the other 20 and down the field. Scoring wise, Eagles are ranked 7th, averaging about 25, 26 points with 31 touchdowns total. Red zone percentage, this I'm not surprised by. We have struggled in the red zone, especially early on in the first quarter, first half really. Red zone, we are currently ranked 11th, scoring about 57.9% of the time. Now on the other side, Ravens wise, total offense, ranked number 1. It just makes sense. You got Derrick Henry, you got Lamar. The team is good. The passing wise, they've done really well, sharpening his accuracy there. So they're currently ranked 1, averaging 430 yards of total offense, also with 41 touchdowns on the year. Passing wise, this is a stat that kind of surprises me here. They're currently ranked 3rd at 252.8 yards a game, 25 passing, which is kind of surprising there. Rushing wise, they're right behind us. They're ranked 2nd with 177 yards per game with 15 touchdowns. They are only 4 yards behind us, and ironically 4 touchdowns behind us too. So we'll see if Derrick Henry can change that number tonight. Scoring wise, they're ranked 2nd, averaging about 30 points a game. And I had to look this stat up, just kind of go back in the games prior. They've been averaging 30, 40 points the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is kind of nuts. Outside that 1 week that they've had a dud. So that offense is extremely potent. And who would have thought that Rashad Bateman would actually be the true number 1? I don't know why they got Deontay Johnson, but, here we are, because he's not a number 1. And possibly one of the craziest stats that I saw, red zone percentage for the Ravens, currently ranked number 1 at a staggering 77.8%. Which is insane. Now, obviously, you got Derrick Henry, you feed that man the ball within the 20, and then you get Lamar to run it, and then Rashad Bateman's open the end zone because Mark Andrews is just useless. They've done very, very well and continue to stay hot in the red zone. So that's my game of the week. I think these offenses are going to light it up. Obviously, Philly has a bit better of a defense, knock on wood. Hopefully everything goes well. But we know that the Ravens, their cornerbacks are not the greatest, so I'm kind of seeing and kind of wondering if A.J. Brown will have a game. Hopefully, Devontae Smith comes back from his hamstring injury. Dallas Goedert there being a threat too. So it's going to be a real good one. It could be a high-scoring game, could be neck to neck, especially if the Ravens take over early in the first half. Hopefully, and then the Eagles kind of stay hot, going towards that second half. Because those stats it's like day and night compared to the first half, second half. So my game of the week, Philly at Baltimore. Get your asses in the chair and turn that game on because it's going to be a hell of a good game. So that's what I got.
So the thing you said that surprises me is not the red zone efficiency from the Ravens. It's the red zone efficiency for the Eagles. I figured that would be a lot higher than what it is. No, just because of their amount of rushing touchdowns that they've had this year.
Yeah, but it's been like I'll have to look this stat up, but it's like it's our kryptonite within the 20. We just can't score within the 20. Now, if you go to the other side of the field and we get to the 20, we got 70, 80 yards to run. Absolutely. I mean, you got to think that Saquon, he's leading the league right now in most breakaways for 30 or plus yards. Oh, and most of those he's gone to the house. Even Jalen's got a couple 25 that he's bustled out there and did his thing and scored. So that doesn't.
Saquon had what, 3 of them Sunday night?
He had 2 Sunday.
2, yeah, both over
270s. 270s.
Yeah, 270s.
So, but I mean, it's just one of those things where it makes sense when you watch them and then you see the stats and the numbers for like the first quarter, especially. We can get down there, and then I think we still try and outsmart everybody and not just give Saquon the rock. but we struggle to get in the red zone, and most of that is coming from that long yardage that we get, or a deep bomb to Devontae that we've seen a few times this year. AJ Brown's caught a few deep ones, and then either penalties will put us out, and then we kick the field goal or whatever, or we go for it on 4th and 38. Because we're Nick Sirianni, and that's what we like to do. So
He needs to shave his head again.
I'd shave it, dude. Shave it.
Here's real quick hot take. Here's again, not an NFL coach, but if I'm the coach of the Eagles, I'm feeding Saquon, and then I'm running a play action pass. I'm running play action. I'm not running route. I'm giving Saquon or Gainwell the ball and then running play action. Because you got to load the box when Saquon's in there. You have to.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because the announcers during the Eagles game, they were saying that exact thing. Feed Saquon, which they have, right? And obviously it's proven to work. Feed Saquon. They load the box, then play action. Jalen Hurts is his best when he's on the run, because not only is he a fairly accurate passer, but who's going to bring that man down? And his fumbles and turnovers on the Eagles in general has been very, very minimal. Especially the last 8 weeks, it's been great. But put him in his best opportunity, and it's on the run. Let him do his thing. Being a pocket quarterback, I understand you got to have some of those plays, and most of the time it does work. But you can tell that he either holds the ball on too long, or doesn't. They when they blitz around. They keep it contained in the middle, so he can't break out and do his running thing. So obviously, whatever we're doing right, and same thing for the Ravens. Just keep doing. Don't change the scheme. Let the Ravens do their thing. They're going to run it. Lamar's going to do his thing. Let the Eagles feed Saquon, give him what he deserved that the Giants couldn't give him, and let Jalen do his thing. We got an incredible offense with talent at every position, and an offensive line that's massive, huge guys that are doing really, really well. Even Cam Jurgens is doing incredible as Jason Kelsey's replacement. He's not Jason Kelsey, but keep in mind, when they drafted him, Jason handpicked him. So obviously he sees a little bit of him in him. So that's my game. I'm sorry, I keep going on a tangent, but that's got to be my game. It's going to be a hell of a good game to watch on a Sunday, and I'm glad it's at 4:25 where I can sit down and just watch it.
Your offensive line is just 5 mountains. It's pretty good.
Yeah, they were showing clips, I think at halftime, and just watching how they're getting up to that set. They're getting that initial block. They're pancaking their guy while staying up, and then getting to that second level to make another block. They're just creating holes, and it's awesome to watch. As a former lineman myself, that's the kind of stuff I wish I could have done.
What do we
Very
say,
impressive.
Zaltowski?
Hat on a hat and follow the asses.
Follow the asses.
Yeah, well, there's a couple asses to follow, and then Saquon's gone. So it's a home run. So
Saquon's vision is incredible too. So
it is disgusting how good a vision that he has. Also, by the way, sidebar: Madden did implement Saquon's jump backwards into the game.
Yeah, the backwards hurdle.
I've been trying to do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, that makes sense for you because it's a user error, but I'm just glad that they put that into. I'm not going to download the gameplay because I'm ass, but
it didn't deserve that. I want everyone to know.
Hey, Nutter, play me after this.
I thought we were going to play COD and Camera Grind.
Yeah, that's going to camera grind for half a game and then leave and not tell anybody.
All right. Anyways, my game of the week. Now, I did pick my game after, my co-hosts here who were homers and picked their team's games of the week. So I just followed suit. Cleveland Browns take on the Denver Broncos Monday night in Denver. Denver is a 5.5 point favorite, and the total projected scoring is 42.5 points. So we'll see if we get close to that. I'm not really sure. The big reason I chose this game, Jameis is just so fun to watch, man. I'm talking before, during, and after the game. Even when he makes turnovers, I'm like, it's okay because you're Jameis. It's fine.
I like that guy. I agree with you.
He's so fun. The Browns actually just released on Twitter today a 13-minute clip or video, I guess. That's not even a clip at that point, of Jameis being mic'd up because they couldn't decide what to cut out of it. So I can't wait to sit down and watch that after we record this. But
He's just having fun. That's
Yeah,
one of the few guys that just genuinely loves to play football, and he's happy that he gets the ability to play. That's it. That's literally it.
and Fish, you know what I'm going to say to you?
Tell me.
He's got the locker room, dude.
Who else had this?
He's got the locker room.
I think it was Justin Fields. No. Russell Wilson.
Oh, you mean the guy that was getting pelted in the face by Cleveland fans last week? But with snowballs?
Scumbags, that's why.
Really?
That doesn't mean he didn't have the locker room.
Philly fan.
Well, I mean, we're throwing beer bottles and snowballs at Santa Claus, but he knew he shouldn't be out there. That's his fault. He shouldn't be out there on the field, and just go in the tunnel, hang out.
But anyways, really excited to watch Bo Nix play closely. The West Coast games are hard for us to watch just because we're usually leaving where we're watching football right around 4:25, so we kind of miss like the first quarter, the first half of some of those games. But excited to sit down and watch Bo Nix play. Excited to see the chemistry building between Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, as well as Jameis Winston, Jerry Jeudy, and Cedric Tillman continue. Jerry Jeudy's really been playing well these past couple weeks. Excited to see if he can still or keep up doing that. Also, Jerry Jeudy revenge game this week, so that'll be exciting.
Tillman has not been playing well.
Well, he got hurt last week.
He's killing me.
And then the week before he did have a
Sutton. Yeah, I agree. Sutton's doing great.
Yeah, Sutton, we talked about him. He's ranked 9th in PPR formats right now for wide receivers. So he's really ascending. Another guy I want to see if he continues to get increased workload, increased production is Nick Chubb. You heard my spiel about him earlier, but I just would like to see him play in a normal game. I don't believe that the conditions are going to be horrible, as in a snow globe in Denver this coming week. So it's going to be interesting to watch, but now I'm going to get into the part where I was loathing getting into. We're going to get into their rankings on the season. So the Browns offensive rankings, they're 29th in yards per game and 30th in points per game with 292.5 and then 16.9 respectively. Defensively, they're not much better. Ranked 21st in yards allowed per game at 345, and then 22nd at points allowed per game at 24.3. So pretty rough sledding there for Cleveland. It's not very fun to not see any rankings in the top 10, let alone the teens. So we're pretty bad this year. The Broncos, offensively, they're a little bit better, but not much better. They're ranked 23rd in yards per game at 313.5, ranked 18th in points per game at 22. They are ranked 3rd in both yards allowed and points per game, only allowing 296 yards and 16.8 points per game. So I think the Broncos are probably pretty easily going to handle us, but I'm still excited to watch the game anyway. Anytime I get to see the Browns in prime time, especially with Jameis Winston at the helm, I'm excited to watch. So,
yeah, good one.
Yeah, Bo Nix has been playing well. I'll definitely watch. We'll be watching that one probably while Camo grinding and COD. Excited to watch Jameis play. Yeah, I really liked his pregame and postgame speeches, and like Fish said, he just looks like he's out there having a blast. Just having a good time playing the game of football, and I love that.
Yeah, I like how he answers questions from the reporters in like biblical, what do you want to call it, scriptures or just riddles. It's always great. Always great to watch Jameis. So that is our Week 13 preview. Now let's get into our ultimate Thanksgiving plates. Now I need to get the randomizer here. Let me get our drum roll going. We have Zoltowski first.
Oh, big.
Second, and I'm bringing in the rear.
I'll take it.
Oh, 1-1. Oof. Big shoes. Big shoes. Look, it's a go-to.
Go ahead and pick turkey and be an idiot.
No, it's not even on the list. Not even on the plate, honestly. Maybe a little bit if I get a drumstick, but it's definitely not. It's not top 4. This is the go-to. If it's not at Thanksgiving, I'm leaving, and it's got to be baked. But it's mac and cheese
It's a great
on the
pick.
Thanksgiving plate.
I mean,
It's pretty high on my list.
It's up there.
How many cheeses is it going to take you 2 hours to make?
It's made with love.
Was the total price announced to everyone 4 times at the dinner table, or just in passing?
Just in passing.
What's
Okay,
the
got
price
it.
But
per
it's
bowl?
probably going to be at least 2 cheeses.
Just two? I've had better.
Okay, that's fine. You know,
You just let
maybe some breadcrumbs in there. You can't put it on the mac and like some people don't. I know people that don't like breadcrumbs on their mac and cheese, so I'll add them separately. But I like
They
I
don't
like
get
that little.
invited to the Thanksgiving party then. Simple.
Oof.
Why don't you make 2, one with and one without breadcrumbs?
So much effort.
That's a lot of effort.
We're so dumb. Fish,
We
what did
get
you get
sidetracked.
with your first?
We got sidetracked.
I'm salivating over here already.
Yeah, same.
My 1-2 pick, I feel like it just goes in tandem and kind of like Zoltowski. If it's not on the table, I'm gonna be very upset and frustrated. And trust me, I'm getting half a bowl onto my plate. I'm gonna go with mashed potatoes with butter. It's just gotta be. It's gotta be a staple, and I'm getting 4 scoops, a little bit of everything else, and then I'm going back up for seconds. Grandma can hit the back of the line. I'm going up and get a little bit more mashed potatoes.
All right, skin on or skin off on the mashed potatoes. Okay,
Off.
hey, whoa.
Off. What are we doing?
My mom always made them with the skin on, and I honestly like them that way. I'll eat them mashed potatoes either way, but
I mean,
Not
you
to
bring a
be-
point. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it regardless, but I
Right,
prefer
yeah, but
without the skins.
all right, yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
Not to be extremely and obviously obese, isn't that smashed potatoes with the skin on?
no, because you make them in the same fashion. You just don't peel the potatoes before you cut them up and boil them.
Interesting. Okay.
Indubitably.
All right, my first pick. It's kind of like what you two just picked. This is something my mom used to make. It is cheesy potato casserole, and it is a great treat. It's cubed potatoes with like sour cream cheese and topped with, now I'm going to lose some people here, cornflakes. Not frosted cornflakes, just normal cornflakes. It's delicious. It's so good.
I think I've had it before.
Potato casserole. My mom has probably made it for you in the past.
Absolutely.
That sounds good. I'm in. I like a little bit of crunch.
So Towski, I'll make it for you since you know.
I don't trust you.
My next pick.
God damn! Oh my god!
I'm gonna stay in the Midwest. I'm gonna go with green bean casserole.
It's a good God, you bastard.
That's some good stuff right there.
I'd just rather have the green beans. I just do green beans, a little olive oil, salt, and pepper, and some garlic. That's all that you need. I don't even need to put it in a casserole and bake it. You know, I don't know. I might be out there on that one.
I mean, that's 2 different dishes.
But
you can take green beans if you'd like. I took the casserole for
I'm gonna take green beans. I think we're doing a little too much the casserole action. I think you just put green beans in a saucepan. You put a little olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic, and you call it a day. You know, that's the way to do it.
All right, yeah, no, I like green beans. I do. I also like green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole is great.
I might have had it once. I think your mom made it for me.
Green bean casserole? She might have. Did you come over for Thanksgiving?
We've only known each other for like 20 years.
Yeah, you must have.
That sucks, Fish. I'm sorry for you.
Yeah,
right.
I keep trying to get rid of him, but it's just
I'm sorry for me too.
I can't shake the kid unless we camo grind. Then I know he's not going to be there.
Listen, we talked about this earlier. I have a rule. I go 0-10. I'm out.
So it's like every game.
It's good for the KD. It's good for the mental health. No, I'm talking 0-10, not negative 10. I'm talking 0-10. I start the game, no kills, 10 deaths. I'm out.
He just keeps running the
done.
same area.
All right. Oh God. All right. My second round. All right. So for my second round, I'm gonna go with, and this one might be, I don't know if it'll be controversial, but it's always there. It's stuffing.
I'm not a big stuffing guy.
Look, I made this stuffing how my mom makes it, and it's weird because it's a really fat guy thing. But it's just box stuffing, but then you take White Castle cheeseburgers, the frozen ones, and you bake them in the oven, and you get the buns crispy, and then you mash them up in with the stuffing, and I don't know why, but it's just so good.
You
But
know
any
damn
stuffing will
well.
do.
You know
I've
damn
heard
well
people
that
do that.
burger is not making it from the oven to then put into a bowl. It's going in the
It
oven
is.
right
It
down my
is.
gullet. There's no way it's lasting. I gotta make 40 of them, and then 5 of them will make it into the bowl.
I can respect that. I love White Castle.
Oh,
I think
know you
it's like 36 little burgers, right?
We're getting a crave case. I'm in.
Is that not how you make it?
No, it depends on if it's a box and what single box of stuffing. It's 6 burgers.
Oh,
You
good
get the
shot.
6
Single
pack.
box, yeah.
Yeah, single box,
what?
a box for a box, man, a box for a box. All right, hang on, I got the turn here. Now I got to think because you stole green beans from me. Mashed potatoes are gone. A good one. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go dessert.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna pull the
Oh,
dessert out
no.
early. Now, most people, when they think Thanksgiving, desserts pumpkin pie or apple pie. No. It's a good peanut butter pie.
Oh, that threw me for a loop.
Peanut butter pie for dessert.
I don't think I've
Yes.
ever had that for Thanksgiving, but that sounds great.
Oh,
I've
it's
had the
delicious.
Shot's pretty good. It's like Old Pasky pick
Yeah.
a quarterback early, and everybody's gonna panic and pick desserts.
You're welcome.
Ah,
It's like when I took a tight end in the 3rd round.
it's a wild thing to do, but
Yeah, he was the number 1 tight end in the league though. So
yeah. How's he doing this year?
not good.
Oh, okay, got it. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Tight ends all
Not
around
good.
aren't doing. Well, I guess we can't count Jonnu Smith, but then again, the Dolphins don't have anyone else to throw it to because Tyreek's. I don't know. He's doing something.
Let's get a broken wrist.
Yeah, I just need him to play better. I'll text him again. My 3rd pick.
Are you his one phone call?
It's an angry phone call. I'll tell you what. I need him to step up. I'm losing games left and right now. My 3rd pick. I'm gonna go with some dinner rolls. Not a big cornbread guy, but you give me some dinner rolls, a little bit of butter, and then you take that dry ass turkey or ham and you make a little sandwich, and then you put the mashed potatoes in the roll. Holy shit. That's 4 meals in one. I'm in. It's gotta be dinner rolls.
I'm in. What kind of dinner rolls?
I honestly, if we could get the Longhorn, or no, what's the
Texas Roadhouse.
yeah?
Texas Roadhouse.
If we get those buns with that butter,
Oh,
man, I'm gonna be a Gusta Gloop. I'm gonna be so big and just happy in a corner asleep.
I mean, King's Hawaiian are better. But you have those in the freezer section now, from what I've heard. The Texas Roadhouse ones, and
Yeah.
they sell the butter at
And they
Walmart.
sell the butter.
Which I'm not a fan of the butter. Hot take.
That's actually that's a criminal charge right there. Like, how do you not like that
I've
butter?
already got one. I don't need another one. Please don't.
I've taken a scoop with a spoon and eaten the butter. Do I
Oh
regret
my
it?
god.
No, I don't, because it is very good. Very good. I load that shit up right on the bread. I can barely see bread. It's just all butter. Sometimes I just stick the butter on my thumb. I'm like, shit. It's been my thumb, not the bread. I don't even have bread in my hand.
Oh god.
Crazy.
You butter the roll. Oh no, I got all this butter on my finger.
Oh, what am I supposed to do? What do you got going on, Nut, for your 3rd?
All right, I can't believe this made it to the 3rd round, let alone the last pick of the 3rd round. I'm taking ham, honey baked ham.
Yeah.
Delicious ham. The best meat for Thanksgiving.
I totally agree with that.
Yes. I'm taking ham over turkey, but I don't know. I don't even know why I didn't think that was an option. Like from honey baked ham?
Anywhere.
Oh, that's
what we usually get. We usually get a honey baked ham. It's actually what I'm most excited for Thursday, other than football. But
Is family on that list anywhere, or is it just like food and then football?
No, family's on the list. The 3 Fs, dude. Come on. Keep it up. There's going to be a 4th F.
I'm curious what this 4th F.
FU,
Oh.
Keep it PG for the YouTube.
Got him.
Yeah, okay,
Keep it
dude.
PG for the YouTube. Family friendly here. All right. My last pick. This is a family tradition on my dad's side. It is not chicken noodle soup, but chicken and noodles. So my great grandma used to make her own egg noodles, and we don't know how she made them because they used to be the greatest things ever. But I mean, we used to put them in like chicken broth with shredded chicken.
Yep.
It's real thick. It's almost like
So
a gravy.
good.
We put those on top of our mashed potatoes.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So
I don't know why I didn't think about that.
So good, man.
So good.
We call them chicken and noodles. I guess that's what they're called, but they don't have like a real name.
Do you use any bouillon cubes?
Probably. I've never made them.
You got it. You got to use the bouillon.
My aunt makes them now, so I'll have to ask her Thursday.
Send her a text. I'm curious how many bouillon cubes she uses.
Why are you emphasizing that so much?
How often do you get to talk about bouillon cubes?
Got the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
I hate you.
Oh shit. We use it for our mac and cheese. My dad makes really, really good mac and cheese. It's an absolute staple, and he uses bouillon cubes with the noodles and stuff. And it's just that brings great joy to the family.
How much would you
the
say
chicken or the beef?
No, I'm just kidding.
What?
The chicken or the beef bouillon?
Chicken.
Okay.
Chicken and bouillon cubes. Do we got a running ticker on the bouillon total?
Is your final pick going to be bouillon cubes?
It might be
like a horse, just
like a salt
lick.
like a salt lick, dude. All right. So my last pick to end this out here, for me at least, I'm gonna go with the classic. I love a good hot apple pie. I love a good fat slice of apple pie, a little bit of ice cream on top. Put it in the microwave. You heat it up a little bit, then you put the ice cream on top or whipped cream. It's just you eat a lot of it. The Sam's Club has a really good. Same thing with Costco. They got a really good Mac Daddy. It's about the size of my desk. Real tiny desk I got here. Massive pie.
Tiny desk, big pie.
I mean, holy shit.
Tiny desk, big pie.
I mean, with a little spoon. It is outrageous. Apple pies.
I love Sam's Club.
Oh, it's great. Sam's Club. Apple pie. I'm like, pumpkin's okay. Again, I'm not gonna bitch about it. Like if it's there, I'm definitely gonna grab a slice. If there's a cherry pie, I'm taking that. A pecan, I'm getting that. It's just gonna be a plate of pie. But I like it. I like a good apple.
You see Crumble's doing pies this week
I think
for Thanksgiving.
And
they got a key lime and a cookies and cream that looks so good.
I'm gonna lose some people here. Rhubarb pie? Anybody ever heard of rhubarb pie?
Nope.
Oh, rhubarb.
Oh.
Go back to the 20s, please.
You said go with the 20s.
You guys are missing out.
What are you, 90?
Yeah. What is it? It's not plum juice. What's the old guy drink?
Prune juice.
Hey, you drinking prune juice of the shit?
Rhubarb pie with a nice glass of warm prune juice. That's what I like.
Your poor toilet.
I was gonna say you're on the shitter for at least an hour and a half, just sweating. That's it.
So much for family friendly. Zoltowski, what's your last pick?
Last pick. So this one might be considered an appetizer, but if they're there and they're made right, I'm putting 10 on my plate. And if I gotta be Dalton to them, but deviled eggs.
No way! I was gonna pick that.
Dude, I
didn't
Easter think about it. Oh, I definitely. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, Dalton made a whole tray by himself last time, and he made himself sick.
He made a tray for everybody else and a tray for himself.
We dropped one.
We did. We made them.
That too.
Oh yeah,
you can't.
Dude, I got a plate of them. Right? I got 3 of them because I wanted to save some for everybody else, and I was like, "Oh, these are really good. Whoever made them, great job." And I come back in, and Dalton's in the corner shoving 15 of them in his mouth. Like, how you? Come on, man, what are we doing here? And he dropped one and left it there, or was that Emily? It might have been Emily.
Somebody stepped in one. That's all I remember.
Liz, who dropped the deviled egg last year? You did it. That was Liz.
That was her. She was guilty the entire time. I remember that.
Yeah. No, but they're so good. So good. It's apple cider vinegar, Dijon mustard, and then you put sugar in there.
What?
This is damn good pigs, Altowski.
Oh, Alex told her to leave it on the floor for the with the yolk mixture. That's what it is. It's apple cider vinegar, sugar, and Dijon mustard, and that's what makes. They're so good.
No bouillon cubes in that?
No, I'm sorry, fish. No bouillon cube. Maybe you can make some with bouillon cubes and tell me how it turns out.
Way too much effort. I'm not gonna do that. I think Andy
Dumb
would do
show.
it. What?
This is a dumb show.
Great show. What are you talking about?
If you didn't
All
think that my word of the week was bouillon cubes, you won 1,000.
Straight from Fish's bank account.
What?
Today's word of the day is bouillon.
Trying to make a fake Twitter.
One.
That was a good draft.
That was a great draft.
I think you might have had that. I think the deviled eggs might be the steal of the draft. There.
That's the sleep. I don't know how it made it all the way. I didn't even I was thinking about stuff. Round 3. I'm like, what the fuck? The turn. I'm like, what do I pick? I'm like, can't think of anything. I'm thinking of mains.
Bouillon cube.
And then I'm like, you know what? Let me refresh. Let me get a quick Goog and pop. I'm like, dude, I'm an idiot.
I thought
Deviled
almost better
eggs.
though. I figured that would have been like a Christmas, Easter type thing because Easter and eggs and shit.
Yeah, Easter and eggs. That's why I thought
dude,
Easter.
Deviled eggs.
Great connection there, Nut. You're
Thanks, man.
holy.
I'm firing on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, that hamster's dead. That thing is not awake. I'm telling you.
Oh, look, that was a good draft. Good show. Sorry,
Oh, good
sorry
show.
to step away and come back.
It's all good. We'll
I think
post your
the
graphics
listeners
still.
Yeah, listeners rather listen to me and Nut anyway. So
I know. It's fine. We're gonna go camo grinding COD now. Hopefully, we'll see Kyler.
Probably.
Did you at least make the Kyler joke? That's why he sucks so bad because COD comes out and it's fun.
We didn't know. I'm sorry.
Hey, you should have been
Fine.
here.
It's fine.
All right, that's the show. You guys want to say anything else before we do a send off?
No, I'm hungry now, and I'm gonna go eat food. Because we talked about food. I'm hungry.
Somebody call Bosom and Nova and tell them to get on.
Yeah, okay. Anybody want to call Mason? No? Okay, cool.
Cool.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Please cherish and enjoy the times with your family and your close ones. It's a big holiday, good break away from work. So enjoy it. Be safe out there. Drink a little bit of wine. Have some fun. And then be safe for Black Friday shopping, obviously, too. If you guys do go out and participate, I know I am with the sister and bosom, so it should be a good time. But
yeah, tell us what kind of Black Friday deals you get. I'm interested to know.
They're already out.
True, they are already out, but
Yeah,
we're here for it.
it's like an engagement.
I know. Or what Black Friday deals you've already gotten because it starts at the beginning of November.
True.
Thing. That's what you want.
But same with Fish. Happy Turkey Day. Enjoy some football. Enjoy some food. Enjoy some family. Be safe out there if you do venture out. Black Friday shopping as well. I know it's not as crazy with online shopping nowadays, but you never know.
Yep, absolutely. And always say GG. Thanks for being a gent. Have a good time, everybody. See you.
See y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.